Marconi escapes pressure and throws an interception, and Grayson will return it for a touchdown. We are tied. Rocco Marconi scrambling away from a defender, and Grayson steps in front of the pass and scores. 3rd down and 5, 1 minute to go in the quarter. Still no Bulldog wideout has caught a pass. Hart is out of the shotgun with Baja to his left, and Hart will hand off on a delay. No, he won't. Sacked in the backfield, Joe Dazzo on a blitz, and he's poking fun at Jasper Hart down on the ground. Joe Dazzo, forget about David Baja, he just creams Jasper Hart. It's another 4th down.
2nd and 9 to the 48. Honolulu just 1 timeout left. They get the ball, leaving about 30 seconds left. Hand off Parker. Parker's got the first down. Parker, back attack. Tag. Down to the 6-yard line. Ball game.
Between arguably the top 2 teams in the league coming up in a couple of weeks. 3rd down and 4. Zuli back to pass. Deep shot to Corky's wide open inside the 15 down to the 11-yard line.
Red Feather's going to have Brewski in the backfield, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. Red Feather pump fakes once, right-hand side. That's going to be picked off! Picked off by O'Neal. Julius O'Neal with his first interception of the day.
It's panic time now for the Pride. Christensen throws. That's batted up the air and intercepted. It's taken away and down the sideline goes number 20. Lucius Sanders put it on the board. Touchdown, Cleveland. Oh my goodness.
And here's the counter play to Zulu, and Ogun will go. He's his best run of the day, and Ogun Zulu will go for the touchdown. Wow, what a run by Ogun Zulu.
Unbelievable.
And they're being very precise, like exactly what you wanted them coming out of the half. And Pickler dropping back. He's going to fire deep, and it's going to be caught. And he's at the 30 to the 20 to the 10 and taking it into the end zone. Nick Finch with a huge touchdown, and just wow, what a play from the Gladiators, and the coverage there from the Tyrants. The DB went for the interception, and he came up with error.
1st and 10 from the 21 here. Just over 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. Chicago trying to uppercut this St. Louis Gladiators team and put them on the ropes. King, shotgun snap, moves in the pocket, fires deep down the field, caught at the back line! What a grab, and the first touchdown of Greg Soto's career is a spectacular one.
Greg Soto coming in replacing the retired J.C. Torres. Said, don't worry, Shane, I know you're about to win one.
This will be just under 32 yards for Otis Boudreau. On his left hash, the right footer stands ready. Spot is down, kick is up. It is good. Otis Boudreau does it again in walk-off fashion. Louisiana taking down Florida 20-19.
They go 4 wide with the tight end split out. Stopped over the middle, throws another interception, and this time it's Jack Brown.
That one's going to the house.
Touchdown at the 36.
They call this, Colin, the law of averages. You know, whenever there's this many interceptions going on in a game, one of them's bound to go back to the house and get some points, right?
Oh my goodness. Now both the linebackers have an interception, but this time Jack Brown turns around and runs it into the end zone.
And I'll tell you
Deep drop for Dunhill. He's going to lob it deep. It's going to be caught. No one around him. He's going to be in. Touchdown. Forward Toros. Stephen Hacker does the robot and gets us off flying.
The Pacific Northwest, the home of the Seattle Nemesis, and they are at 2-4 this season, looking to keep the good times rolling and get themselves into playoff contention before this season is done. They play host today to the 4-2 Minnesota Legend. Welcome in. It is Chris Curtis and it's Mark Lopez in the broadcast booth as we are getting set and ready as Minnesota comes in a good spot with where they're feeling right now. They come against a Seattle team that's looking to turn it around and has done some positive things of late. Mark, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Curtis?
Good. Appreciate you being here with me, buddy. We are getting ready to go as Johnny Reno, Trellis Blanton, and the rest of the players get to face off against one another on an SFL After Dark edition in this Friday night. Getting ready to get going. It's going to be Minnesota in the white tops, Seattle in the purple tops on their side. We'll get this game started here in fairly short order. But Mark, talk to me about these two running backs. You have Colin Hart from Minnesota. You have Baloo Scott for the Seattle Nemesis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously Colin Hart, veteran of this league, 10 seasons with the league. Even though he is the shortest on the field, he is not short of greatness. We know historically he's been a great player. Versus Baloo Scott, relatively young, newcomer in the league, second season in the league. We can talk about her efficiency throughout the season much later in the game, but he's not going to shy away from trying to match up Colin Hart in terms of performance this evening.
We are ready to go. Ball is returnable. Seattle gets the first crack at the football. A couple of broken tackles and a real good return for Gus Scott as he brings it up the field for the Nemesis. We get to take a look at their offense first, led by Trellis Blanton, who had a Jekyll and Hyde day a week ago in the loss. Ended up 3-4 touchdown to interception ratio, but he did have 350 plus yards. Not bad on that way to go. We'll talk about the wide receivers here in just a moment. Baloo Scott's the deep back in the offset eye. And it will not go there first. Throw over the middle. It's tipped and incomplete. The rest of the wide receivers look like this. Zach Patton's going to be formation left most of the time. David Gears, the former former Vancouver Legion member, is going to be on formation right. He's the number 2. And then you have Gus Scott in the slot. Tita Queen will make an appearance on occasion as well as the fourth option in this passing game for Blanton, who has had a season like a young quarterback would. It's been moments of greatness and moments of youth for the Seattle Signal Colts. Throw over the middle. That one's caught good. Ball on the seam, just past the 40 to the 45-yard line. David Gears, aforementioned, one of the wide receiving options, makes the play.
And David Gears did not have much of a presence last week, but still the number 2 option for Blanton in terms of receptions and yards this season. So he might show up in this evening compared to last week.
Watch out for Paulie Truth and Dean Jackson, the tight ends as well. 7-step drop for Blanton. He's throwing, but it was hit. It actually got blocked by the incoming linebacker who blitzed, hit the ball to the ground. It hit his body, and it is an incomplete pass.
And that was BJ Loveless with a great block. What an athletic play by him. Jumping up just at the line of scrimmage, blocking. You don't see that a lot. Linemen blocking a shot midair. And what a great defensive play.
2nd and 10. 2 to the left. Baloo Scott is in the backfield. 4-3 look on defense for Minnesota. They bring one more up to the line, looking like they may be sending a little bit of extra help. And nope, they send 4. Chance for Blanton. Left side caught just inside. And David Gears again makes that play happen. A 6-yard or a 5-yard completion is what they'll give him. We talked about the tight ends a minute ago. Paulie Truth, 6 catches a week ago, 128 yards. That's a pretty healthy average.
Absolutely. That's averaging 21 yards per catch on that impressive showing by him. But you're right. He is one of the players to watch amongst the tight ends of this game.
3 to the left, 1 to the right for Blanton, 4 wide. And they send an extra linebacker. Throw left side. That is tipped and incomplete. Dangerous ball but it is no dice, as that one was for Tita Queen, the fourth option. 4th and 5 coming up. Seattle will punt.
Yeah, that was kind of similar to what we've seen Blanton perform throughout the season. Sometimes you'll see his flashes of greatness, making great passes deep, and then sometimes you just see him throw into coverage like that. Is it a question of his, young career so far? Perhaps, but at least for this drive, it did not do well for them.
And nearly got it away. That is Scott back deep Banks back deep for the return on the punt and gets it up to the 13-yard line, no further than that. And out comes the Minnesota offense, who's had a pretty steady season so far. Johnny Reno threw the ball 44 times in last week's loss against Florida. Ended up with 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He's flanked by Colin Hart and Chris Komisak, the halfback-fullback combo. We've seen that before. We'll talk about the wide receivers and tight ends here in a moment, but a split back look on first down for Reno. Heavy set look. It is going to be through the middle. Nothing much happening there. It'll be a 3-yard gain, as that one will be Komisak getting the first carry of the ball game for Minnesota.
Yeah, and you mentioned Johnny Reno's numbers last week. Don't be fooled. His 57.5 QBR is way below his season average. He's actually averaging above 100 this season, so he's definitely primed to have a good performance every single week.
Handoff, right side. Got a chance. Colin Hart breaks a tackle, and he's got some speed to burn, and then gets absolutely leveled at the 16-yard line. That one hurt, not even 16, that was the 40. Either way, really good play. And we look like we have a neutral zone infraction to deal with on the other side for Seattle.
Yeah, they get given the penalty, but they're going to decline. They're going to take the yardage, and that's your 3-time All-Star in Colin Hart. Breaking away in his first carry of this game shows out for, that's, I believe, more than 15 yards, 20 yards approximately.
And he is he's small but mighty, no doubt about that. He's definitely short, though, so his little legs need a few more strides to get upfield than some of your other backs in the league. But he does get it done, no doubt. 40-yard line's where they're at, 1st and 10 for the legend. Colin Hart, again, has a hole to work through, and he'll get himself 6. The other wide receiver tight end combinations we have, it is Jay Taylor, formation left most of the time. Buchanan Simons is on the right. Adam Banks will be on the slot, and then Queg Mam will be in the 4th option. Christian Bajikalupi, and then Jason France, your main tight end options for the legend, as they have 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Colin Hart is in the single left position on this play. Looking to throw it. Reno, left side, caught, and not enough for the first down. That was close, but not quite going to get it done is Adam Banks, 3rd and inches.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. That was close. Perhaps maybe mistimed a bit on the throw, but, they set themselves up, Curtis, for 3rd and inches, and when you have Colin Hart in your backfield as he is right now, you're kind of confident that they can get this first down.
And that is a fullback run for Komisak. They go with him instead, and it is a first down. Couple of carries already for Komisak, and he had 7 a week ago with not much in the way of yardage, but he did get clutch yards there.
Yeah, absolutely clutch indeed. Getting the first down when you need it, and when you present 2 options against the defense, you confuse them. Is it Komisak? Is it Colin Hart? This time it was Komisak, and they give his team the first down.
Good work using him in the short yardage situation. Reno will throw on first down. That's over the middle. Nice post route. Will find a completion 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line, and that is 27 down to Jay Taylor on that formation left.
Taylor also had a great week, showing last week 6 receptions for 69 yards, which is all nice, averaging 11.5 per reception that evening. And with a great catch in that play, he's setting his team up to be near the red zone already.
That's a very nice total, no doubt. Split backs formation look in the heavy set. Komisak again, 3rd carry already in this first quarter for the fullback. 3 yards there. Nothing much more than that. If you're new to the SFL, Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, it's football for everyone. Offset eye look. Colin Hart, the deep back on second down. They'll go his way. It's a stretch left. Chance on a first down and more. Down to about the 12-yard line. That's what they'll give him. New set in the red zone for Minnesota.
And what incredible blocking on the left side. Double teaming the edge, it seems like. Look at that key block on number 51. Sealing the edge, and that's just what lets number 23, Colin Hart, go for a huge gain once again. And don't look now, Minnesota is inside the red zone, just 12 yards away.
Single right, tight end to the right as well. Throw right side, and Colin Hart can't hold on to it. That's a dangerous ball right there. He had 3 members of the Nemesis defense right around him, drops the ball.
Yeah, very dangerous indeed. Fortunately for him, the defense was not quick enough to get the ball, because that was it. The ball popped out of his hand and could have been in the hands of, I did not catch the player number in that one, but could have been an interception.
Very well could have, no doubt. 2nd and 10 from the 12. They can get another first down at the 2, make it 1st and goal if they need to, or if they can get there anyway. Looking at a far formation here. Tight end to the left. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. Looking to throw. Plenty of time. Throws right towards the sideline. That is incomplete. No, they're going to give it to him. That is indeed a catch. Hard to believe. 4-yard completion there for Banks.
Yeah, I also thought it was incomplete. You called it incomplete because to me it did look like it was out of bounds. It looks like there's no challenge here. But they'll take the 4 yards. 3rd and 6 is much better than 3rd and 10. And
Indeed.
setting themselves up for potentially score here.
This could be a throw from Reno. It is a catch, but it's not for very much. 3rd down and 6 turns into 4th and 3 in a hurry. Banks with the catch, but it's not enough, and they'll bring out the field goal unit.
Yeah, I will say credit to the coverage in the end zone. 2 plays in a row. Minnesota sent 3 receivers deep inside the end zone, and those both times they couldn't find anything. Reno couldn't find any of his receivers in the end zone, instead settling for 3 points now.
Mickey Melillo on, only needed 1 time a week ago. Now has a 23-yard chip shot from the right hash. Kick up and on the way. It is up, and it is through. Minnesota strikes first. A 3-0 lead for them over the Seattle Nemesis. Minnesota on the road in Seattle with 5:18 left in this first quarter.
It was also a pretty good drive, noting that they started inside their 15-yard line. They run down the field 81 yards in 12 plays, and 3 points on the board for them. That is a very productive drive.
That'll work. Gets it done. Gus Scott back deep for the return. 3 yards into the field of play. Tries to work the left sideline again. Can't quite get out there to burn the edge. 1st and 10 for the Nemesis coming out for their first drive. Reno 4 for 5 on his first series, ending in that field goal. And on the other side, Trellis Blanton, who's coming back out now, 2 for 5 for him with 21 yards. Ended up in a punt from midfield, their first go round. Ready to go is Baloo Scott. She's the deep back in this power eye look. 1st and 10. And they'll go Baloo Scott's way on the sideline. Spin back into the field of play, and a 5-yard gain makes it 2nd and 5.
Yeah, Baloo Scott's first catch of the evening. Interesting stat about her performance last week. She had 5 receptions, but only netted actually negative 2 yards, so not even positive yardage on her passing play. I was calling that game, and they were struggling passing out to her on those swing passes, but this time a successful one for her.
This will be a run for Scott. Nothing doing, though. There's a free play, it looks like, an offside on Minnesota, as that will set them up with a new set of downs. First down coming up. Oh, holding.
Ooh.
Okay, never mind. Thought it was an offside. That is not so much. An offensive holding call will back it up a little bit. So get ready to back it up as the Nemesis will start walking in their own footsteps.
Very unfortunate. They really didn't want to fall behind Minnesota too much. This is going to set them back, but they're looking at another 3rd and long situation in this drive.
Not ideal. Split backs look. Chance for Blanton over the middle. That's a catch, and what a play it was. Great looking play. Super, super focused to be able to bring that one in. It is 1st and 10 as Blanton finds his target over the middle.
Yeah, and that's what Terrence Blanton can do. He can definitely make those long passes, threading the needle. You saw their two defenders had their arms out trying to tip the ball, but instead it lands into the hands of his receiver in Blanton, pushing his team forward despite the offensive penalty.
That was Zach Patton on the catch. First one of the day on the first target. Blue Scott tries to get through, but a real nice play to stop the stretch before it starts. It's a 1-yard loss, and 2nd and 11 coming up on this next one.
Yeah, Axel Raven amongst those tackling Baloo Scott. So this defense will be looking to stop Baloo Scott. A lot of the times they're expecting handoffs to her plenty of times this game. This formation might be another handoff to her possible.
Looking like it. Power Eye sets up plenty of blocking for her. Let's see if they give it to her there. They do. Blocking does the job to get the yards made up and get one more as well. 3rd and 9 coming up. Neither team doing fantastic on 3rd down so far. See if they can get it done here.
Yeah, Charles might look to be passing once again this drive. Definitely not a Baloo Scott situation without Baloo Scott obviously not in the backfield. And look at the bottom of your screen. You have 3 receivers down there.
Tita Queen, the most innermost on that crew. Over the right side, caught. Great seam play by the receiver, as that is perfectly done to get the first down again, as Zach Patton comes up with a big catch to extend the drive.
And that's an absolutely great route. You saw right there cutting inside and at the last moment going vertical, and that makes up the 9 yards they needed for a first down. And Zachary Patton once again making the big catch for his team.
Most adventurous drive so far of this game for Seattle. That's the outside. Blue Scott, plenty of speed on the outside to the sideline, down the left, all the way down to the 13-yard line, and Seattle's in business. 1st and 10 in the red zone.
Baloo Scott is looking like she's on fire right now. Look at that. What a run after catch by her. And much better performance than she had last week. And this time she's posing to be a problem against Minnesota, at least in the passing game. Twice thrown to her, twice solid run of the catch. This one, incredible run of the catch.
Well done by Blue Scott there. Seattle seemingly trying to find creative ways to get her the football in space. That's a great example of that there. Split pro look, and that's a free play. Chance on the handoff. Scott, broken tackle, and not enough for the first down. Likely 2nd and inches pending the penalty here, but it'll be a first down, I think, regardless because of the free play. And it will. R62 all over it. So we have ourselves they do decline it and take the yard. So 2nd and inches it will remain as they get closer and closer to their first and goal aspirations. It remains a 3-0 game for Minnesota as we get towards the tail end of this first quarter.
That was a 42 run after catch by Baloo Scott 2 plays earlier, adding up the 9-yard run. Just those 2 plays, she has 51-yard contribution in this drive.
2nd and 1 here in the offset eye. Wouldn't be surprised if they go back to her. And they do, but Minnesota's all over her on that. Loses a couple yards. A 3rd and 3 coming up as Knight was chief amongst those that got to Baloo Scott in the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And Max Knight obliterated the front line, getting to Baloo Scott in a hurry, and that was the difference. Previous 2 plays blocked really well. That one, Max Knight just broke through.
Handoff. Scott tries to get through. Not going to work. Doesn't gain a yard or lose a yard there, as Raven is in the area to make the play, as is the rest of that linebacking core. 4th and 3, and Seattle will have to try to kick the field goal to tie it.
They're basically mirroring Minnesota's drive earlier. A great, solid drive in terms of yards. Stopped short by the defense within very close field goal range.
This is a chip shot again from the 6. Make it a 23-yard chip shot, and it is up and through for the nemesis from Christian Ronald Suey. So a 3-3 game with the 36 seconds left in the first quarter. Chris Curtis, Mark Lopez in the broadcast booth with you this particular find. Evening, Justin Reside, James Walters in the stats truck, and producer and commissioner Cameron Irvine on the buttons, making us look and sound better than we have any right to. We're up and away with Minnesota getting this ball back, starting their second drive of this football game. A nice long drive from Seattle on that last one, taking away the rest of this first quarter, essentially. 11 plays, 81 yards as they started from their own 19.
Yeah, both teams actually going down the field 81 yards on their previous drives. Very slow game in terms of pace, and very slow game in terms of points as well. Only 6 points on the board.
1st and 10 for the Legend. Handoff, right side. Chance for Colin Hart to do something, but nice pursuit to the ball is going to bring him down 45 yards so far on the day for Colin Hart, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, Colin Hart was actually dragging Lamar Bryant Jr. about to break away from him, but instead I believe that was David Horrell on the great support tackle to bring down the 3-time All-Star Colin Hart.
Distributed a bingo card courtesy of Mark Lopez earlier, and on that, the Horrell family getting 20-plus tackles. There's one there as Colin Hart goes again forward, gets a couple, and that is going to bring us to the end of the first quarter of play. It's a baseball score or a hockey score, not a football score. 3-3 at the end of the first in the Pacific Northwest. It's the SFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Ready to go for the second frame. Minnesota only on their second series of this game. Trying to answer the field goal from Seattle. Look, nothing more than a seesaw battle in this game if we can find one. Under center is Reno. He's got Colin Hart to his right in the single back. That's a dangerous ball, but it is caught, but not for enough. That 3rd down goes wanting. Adam Banks can't find the yellow line, and it is a punt for the Legend as they'll give it back to Seattle.
What a roller coaster of emotions in that one play. You have a terribly thrown pass turning into a catch anyway, and yet it wasn't good enough for a 1st down. And the first punt of the evening by Minnesota. Unfortunately for them, Seattle able to stop them on this drive.
Oh, that's dangerous. Seattle nearly got there on the punt block. That will be end over end at the 40, fair caught there by Gus Scott. And out comes Trellis Blanton and company on their second series. Their offense comes, or third series actually. Their offense comes back out and tries to get themselves into the end zone on their first drive of the second quarter.
The one thing we haven't seen much in this evening is sacks or defensive linemen getting to quarterbacks. Both teams actually pretty good on protecting their quarterback, maybe much less so for Travis Blanton.
Blanton, pump fake, looks, throws, right side, caught. Plenty of room with space on the right. That is a real good ball to lead his receiver. And that is 1st and 10. I think that's Scott over there who got the ball. Oh, Derek Meerkat.
You're absolutely right, Curtis. It's what a throw that is. Allowing your receiver enough momentum after the catch to keep going his trajectory, and that trajectory was downfield, vertical for plenty yards. Another huge play by Blanton. Already several big plays by him, especially in the previous drive, especially on that one. They're setting themselves up for getting back the lead.
All right, we're ready to go. It's 1st and 10. Seattle, that's going to be out to the outside. And Blue Scott is hit at the line of scrimmage. No loss, no gain, but a big hit regardless, and that is going to be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, unfortunately for Baloo, Scott did not have any blocking in front of her in that play, as you know, she's obviously swinging to the side without any blockers, and that was the difference compared to the few times she was able to break away for yards, was that blocking.
3 wide, looking to throw. Right side, that's nearly picked, and they would have still been running. That was a pick 6 waiting to happen, and it did not end up in the hands to bring that one in from Tigga Clay, the strong safety.
Tigga Clay wishing he had more practice with the jug machine, because that catch was the pick 6 written all over it, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for the defense, I guess fortunately it's still a pass deflection, silver lining of that one, but they would have wanted that.
Chance for Blanton. Blanton looks, throws right side, and it is caught Oh, he found a spot between 5 defenders to get Scott the ball, and it's 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line as Seattle is in the red zone.
How did he find it? That's both great quarterback vision to find his receiver, but also great receiver play to get that catch amidst, several white uniforms. And what a play by both quarterback and receiver.
Dropping it in the bucket there. That's going to be left side caught again as Trellis Blanton is finding some kind of rhythm with his offense. David Gears brings that one. No, Ed Patton, sorry. 2nd and 2 coming up here after an 8-yard completion.
And 8 for 10 is Trellis Blanton in this drive. Sorry, in this game. And in this drive alone, he's already 4 for 5, making a lot of his catches, a lot of his passes completed.
Could very well be Baloo Scott time in the power eye. It is going to her, and she's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 2 coming up in a big 3rd down for the Minnesota defense, who's trying to bend but not break.
Yeah, very similar situation from the previous drive inside the red zone. The last time Baloo Scott tried to run through the middle, she was stopped twice by this Minnesota defense. See if they go back to her in this one.
Seattle's been pretty good on 3rd down offense this season. Throw right side. That one's caught. 1st down and goal as they get it to Patton again. Now 3 for 5 on 3rd downs in this game so far, and only a couple yards left to get to Pater.
Yeah, it just supports the fact that the stat that you pointed out, really good at 3rd down this season. This is now 60% 3rd down efficiency in the first half alone.
See if they can finish off this drive. Tight end off to the left, 1 receiver out wide. That looks like Patton down there. 4-3 look. That's going to be a handoff. It is Baloo Scott who pushes her way in, and it's a Seattle Nemesis touchdown.
Wow, great. That was just effort, pure effort by Baloo Scott. Whenever she gets hit by the defense, it was almost always surely a tackle, but not this time. She just drags everyone. Oh, not a nice hop and a skip. That could have been a tackle that stopped her in her tracks, but no, she brings down the defender to their knees, and she instead brings the touchdown to their team.
Ronald Suey on for the extra point. Christian Ronald Suey, as a matter of fact, trying to make it a 10-3 ball game and get Seattle up a full touchdown on the Minnesota Legend. Minnesota favored by 8.5 in this game, according to Jack's data. And that kick is up and through. Over under a 42.5. We seem to be on pace for that, or at least pretty close to it. See how far we get into that threshold as Minnesota's about to get this ball back for their 3rd series.
That was only Baloo Scott's 5th total touchdown of the season. Touchdown number 9 of her young career, at least in the rushing touchdowns.
Banks back deep for the return. As this is up and gone from the 6. Banks works it back to the middle. Does a shimmy past the first initial rush, gets to the 27-yard line, and out comes Johnny Reno and company for the next series. Tomorrow on Next Level Sports, the unbeaten Atlanta Swarm try and keep it that way, going up against the Portland Fleet, who have a winning streak of their own and want to spoil the Swarm's dreams of a number 1 seed. Kickoffs tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern only on NLSE. Next Level Sports, get more. Offset I formation. Handoff. Colin Hart doesn't have the time to be able to think his way through the defense there as the defensive line gets home. 2nd and 12 after losing 2.
Yeah, great tackle. The hesitation by Colin Hart, has the hezzy move, as they say, working against him, giving the defense time to get to him. That was Harrell with a great tackle on Colin Hart.
2nd and 12. Another heavy set look. Left side formation heavy on this play. It will be a fullback handoff to Komisak and plenty of room in front of him. The fullback, the big man with some speed there, gets a 1st down and more down to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, you're right. Plenty of room in front of him. Despite that, you could see all the defenders were at his waist trying to catch up to him, because if they don't, that was just green space in front of him. Could have gone for more yards. speedier defensive backs able to get to him, but still a big gain by the big guy.
1st and 10 for Chris Komisak and the legend as they move the ball. Hand off Colin Hart. Has some space to work, trying to get to the second level, but was a little bit ahead of his blockers and paid for it. A 4-yard gain. Could have been more, but nothing doing on that past the 4.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A little bit ahead of his blockers, maybe expecting the defense to try to beat the blockers on the other side of the blocker, but instead they caught him, tackled him for a missed opportunity for more yards.
Mar Bryant Jr. on the stop there. Deep left side from Reno. That one is picked off. First mistake of the game for Johnny Reno, and Daniel Valentine makes him pay.
And the Seattle Nemesis are showing up at home with 2 great offensive drives and now an incredible defensive play. They're taking the ball back to the hands of their great quarterback in the evening. Travis Blanton's back on the field, care off that interception.
Reno was trying to target Jay Taylor on that throw, and Valentine was all over him. Handoff through the middle. Blue Scott tries to spin and will get 3 yards for her troubles. 2nd and 7 coming up here as we get about the halfway point of this second quarter.
And at this space, Seattle looking to extend their lead to at least more than 1 score.
2nd and a few. It's a power eye look. 4-3 look on defense. Minnesota looking to send perhaps some extra help. And it'll be a run blitz through the middle. Scott, nice hesitation play. Gets all the way down to midfield. The 48 is where they'll mark. So just shy of Minnesota territory, but a 1st and 10 nonetheless. New set of downs for Seattle.
Great running from Baloo Scott again. This play setting her up for over 30 yards in the evening. Or almost 30 yards in the evening. 35 in fact.
She's been good, no doubt about that, as it created tremendous balance for this Nemesis offense. See if they can keep it up. Another Baloo Scott run at the line of scrimmage, and not much more than that. 2nd and 9 as they get it to the 49. Lovelace comes up and makes the hit.
That would be number 10 in terms of carries by Baloo Scott. 13 total touches, where you include the 3 receptions she had. On the receiving end, 47 yards. We remember the one huge play she had. Run after the catch, and she has been working hard this evening.
Single ace formation for the Nemesis here. Scott's going to try to get to the 2nd level, and not going to happen. The Legend are all over her on that play. As a 3rd and long coming up here for the Nemesis.
Derek Meerkat, really good play on that one. Read the run, coming out to his side, and just rush Baloo Scott, getting that great tackle at the line of scrimmage.
This is a test for the 3rd down offense, 3 for 5 so far, but they're staring at a 3rd and long, just outside of Minnesota territory. Deep left side, that one is caught. An athletic leaping catch is going to bring that one in. Tita Queen, her 2nd target of the day, 1st catch, has Seattle in business.
The X factor is Tita Queen as she goes up, climbs the ladder, and brings one down. Brings down the money ball with a great play by both her and, once again, Blanton showing up in the 3rd and long situation. Great play overall by the Seattle Nemesis.
4 for 6 on 3rd down is Seattle already. Heavy set look. Looking to throw out of it. Over the middle. That's a great dot as well. In between 2 defenders. Finds his target. Then that is a 1st and 10 one more time for Seattle as David Gears has his 3rd catch.
I think Blanton might have had some sewing lessons. He keeps threading the needle several plays in a row. And what about these receivers catching the ball and holding on to them while under duress, while in impact, and making their quarterback look very, very nice.
21 yards on that completion. Split backs look for Blanton. Blanton to throw. Over the middle, tried for the post route. Not going to work. Real good defense there. David Gears, the intended target.
Yeah, I mean, David Gears, solid showing so far, catching 3 of the first 3 throws to him. So, of course, you want to put one of your better defenders. They put Cody Griffin on him. And that matchup, the David Gears Cody Griffin, one of the key matchups in the evening so far. And that one play, Griffin won the matchup.
Very good work there. Cody Griffin typically matched up against Zach Patton, not on that particular play, as they switched it up a little bit. 2nd and 10, handoff to Blue Scott. There's not a lot there. 3rd and 10 coming up, and another big 3rd and long scenario for Seattle, but they seem to be figuring things out, as does the Minnesota defense and their linebacking core as Juan Mississippi comes up to make the hit.
In a 3rd and long situation like this, based on the historical data of this game alone, we might be looking at a score if this 3rd down is converted.
Throw left side is typically how they do things. They will go that way again, and it's picked off. And then there's a lot of running room back the other way. Oh, the speed down the sideline, and he will take it for a house call. Pick 6, 87 yards.
Oh my goodness, 87 yards technically, but he picked that in the end zone for a 100-yard dash for his pick 6. What a way to turn this around, Curtis. And what did I say? If this 3rd down was converted, it would be a score. I did not mean it for the other team.
Cody Griffin shows off the speed and does a wind sprint for everyone in Seattle. Minnesota about to tie this ball game up as they get their defense involved in the scoring. Extra point pending to bring this one even. Mickey Milillo is going to bring on the extra point here, but now, I mean, the problem for Minnesota is they're probably gassed, and now they got to go back out.
That's true.
Kick is up, and it is good on the extra point. So Seattle going to get this ball back where they have to do it all over again. They're just outside the 2-minute warning. Still all 3 timeouts for each team. So there's that, but we'll see what the 2-minute drill has for Charles Blanton and company.
Unfortunately for Seattle, Minnesota, in spite Johnny Reno throwing the interception, it was still Minnesota who cashes in points after a turnover.
It's going to be a play back for Patton as he brings back the return. It is 1st and 10 for Blanton from his own 24. And we'll see how that actually Scott on the return either way. 1st and 10 for Blanton and company.
If we're just looking at the time of possession battle, so for Seattle leading Minnesota by over 5 minutes, 12 minutes to the 7 minutes that Minnesota has the ball, but still tie game.
And off through the middle, and that is going to be a 3-yard gainer. Not much more to it than that for Blue Scott as they try and start over here. Maybe a little bit more deflated Seattle's offense is after losing. They had quite a bit of rhythm going into that play that ended up being taken back. But they lost all of that on that particular one play. Offset eye look. Tight end to the left. Throws left side towards the sideline. That is caught, and that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. It is 120 seconds left to locker rooms in a 10-10 game. Minnesota and Seattle locked in a good one. It's the SFL on YouTube presented by APM Music. Our formation look again. They've run into this formation a couple of times here, and they will pass out of it here. That's going to be over the middle. Caught. Inside slant. Pretty good one. 1st and 10 for the Nemesis as they do get the yard. Justin Reside and James Walters in the stats truck for us. Chris Curtis along with Mark Lopez in the broadcast booth, welcoming you in and saying thank you for spending a majority of your late evening with us here at the SFL. 4 games, and this is the 3rd of 4, so the 4th one got going, I believe, a little bit ago. And that is it's a nice 4-pack of good action for you on the SFL on a Friday night. That's a nice 6-yard completion to the outside. Blue Scott brings that one in, and it's 2nd and 4 coming up.
Yeah, they still have their 3 timeouts, as Seattle does. But they are letting the clock run down. They're looking for, I think, any points on the board would set them up really well for the second half.
Throws, right side, caught. That is a nice post route. It's going to find a nice no huddle as well. Put it at the 33-yard line. And Seattle is working in business. They're already in field goal range. Snaps it, looks, throws, left side. That one's caught. Down the left side. Touchdown to the house again. Seattle returns fire and takes back the lead just like that.
And Travis Blanton has no fear. He threw a pick six. That's not going to stop him from keeping slinging the ball. Throws for a touchdown. Number 2 in the evening for him. Number 2 for his team. Sorry, the number 1 for Blanton. Number 2 for his team. And that's how you answer a poor pick six. Come back with a touchdown.
Yeah, what a drive. Only took about 40 seconds off the clock as David Gears ends up with the ball in the end zone to give him a touchdown and put the nemesis back up in front. Christian Ronald Suey about to add the extra point. Snap is good, hold good, kick out on the way, and it is up and through. Good work from Seattle. Now they have to keep Minnesota off the board. Remember, Seattle started with the ball when we got things going, so Minnesota will get it back at the start of the second half. And in the air, we're ready to go again. Minnesota, they don't have a lot of time, but they do have 3 timeouts. Chance on the return. Spin, not going to break through the tackle, though. 25-yard line, they got to move it probably, I'd say, about 40 yards to give themselves a good shot at getting points before the half.
Sounds about right. 40 yards in 40 seconds. They do have their timeouts, Curtis, so it is definitely plausible.
Due to the right. Offset eye look in a 4-3 again. Send some extra help. This will be a handoff, and Colin Hart can't do anything with that. They decided to run the ball instead, and it looks to me, based on their demeanor and sense of urgency, that they're content taking this into a 17-10 halftime score.
A one-score game into halftime between 2 second-year teams, second-year franchises, and what a game we are watching.
Been good so far. A lot of football left, no doubt about that. 10 seconds left in this half, and a free play, handoff Colin Hart, and he's going to go forward. They'll stop the clock with 7 seconds left, and we'll see at least one more play before the end of the half.
Neutral zone infraction, number 60, defense, the penalty.
So neutral zone infraction finds Minnesota again. Komisak, the guilty part, actually not the guilty party there, but either way. Now it's a chance for probably another run for Colin Hart, and that'll take us into the locker rooms, I'd assume. Been an entertaining half of football, no doubt about that. And it looks to be, we're setting up for a pretty good finish, to say the least. And a Hart through that middle, stays on his feet, does get the first down. And they do call a timeout. I think they're going to try for something long here, I think, with 3 seconds to go.
Yeah, perhaps Colin Hart for that play. The defender tackled him. I did not catch a number, but that was a key tackle because Colin Hart could have broken away for yards, I think, Curtis. There was no other defender in the backfield as the safeties moved up, and Colin Hart could have just run for a touchdown, but instead we see them might line up for a Hail Mary, but not really, actually.
No, doesn't look like it. They may just try to stat pad a little bit here. This looks like a Colin Hart run all the way. Seattle believes it is as well, and it will be. He's going to try to work the edge. He does have some speed. Spins down to 1 tackle, and that is going to finish things on that front. So it is indeed a one-score game into the halftime break. Seattle owns that lead after answering the pick six with a touchdown of their own. They lead them 17-10 over Minnesota. Mark Lopez, let's talk to you. Figure out your thoughts on what has been a pretty entertaining, albeit somewhat slow-paced first half.
Yeah, it's slow-paced because Seattle Nemesis, who has had the ball so much in this evening, you see right there, doubling up Minnesota. They're really going to Bellew Scott and digging or, going into that well so many times. And that's going to eat the clock, slow down the pace. Probably the key difference in this, the fact that Minnesota is still in this game, was that pick 6. Otherwise, this could have been a much different story. This could have been 3-24. So we're looking at 10-17 and Seattle dominating, but one key mistake is what's keeping Minnesota in.
Yeah, a lot of football left as well, and Minnesota has been a second half team for the most part, so I'd love to see what they can do going into the third and fourth quarter. But a positive game, real good play from both sides, and the defenses showing out when they need to and keeping these quarterbacks at bay for the most part. It's 5 for 7 is Johnny Reno going into the half with 29 yards. That's not a lot. And on the other side, plenty for Trellis Blanton, 18 for 24. He's already thrown the ball 24 times with 284 approximately on or through the air for Seattle. And that's a nice snapshot of where we're at, where the defense has kept Minnesota in the game like you alluded to, and Trellis Blanton and that offense keeping Seattle in a spot where they're ahead. Second half about to get going as we return to Seattle. Minnesota again starting with the football as we get back in. Do you think the pace of play changes a bit now that these teams kind of know what they're trying to bring?
Perhaps we'll see definitely what the result of the first Minnesota drive is. If they are unable to score, I feel like Seattle will try to grind this game to a crawl, try to hold on to that lead, especially with Baloo Scott doing decently on the ground, averaging, just under 3 yards, but it is in the passing game that she was very productive.
See if we see a more well-grounded game as it'll be a return. Adam Banks trying to get around the edge. He's got 6 members of the Nemesis special teams unit chasing him to the sideline. They finally catch up with him and bring him down at the 23.
It's like one of those Pirates of the Caribbean scenes where Jack Sparrow just being chased by an angry mob of, angry mob behind him. That's the same scene that, oh my goodness. But solid start, 23 yard, setting themselves up for a 77-yard drive potentially.
That may work. This will be Komisak, who's had his 4th carry now, ends up with 8 yards. Yeah, they'll give him 8 on that play. Real good run from Komisak. He's been very involved in the running game.
Absolutely, and talking about efficiency, how about him with over 8.8 yards per carry?
He's been good. No doubt about that. Offset I formation look. Seattle looking to try to send some extra help. Komisak with another carry. Gets a couple more yards, makes it a 3rd and short. Minnesota trying to stay on schedule, and so far they are 3rd and 1.
This time Katie able to tackle Komisak with, preventing another huge gain by the big guy. So good tackle in the inside.
Minnesota 2 for 5 in that first half in 3rd downs. This is a big one entering the second half, trying to get 50%. That's through the middle again, and it's Komisak again. This time he gets the first down outside of the 35 to the 38-yard line is what they'll give him.
Just absolutely brute forcing their way in the middle. 3 times to Komisak, 3 times for positive yardage. Obviously the 3rd time for a first down, and Komisak, maybe he might be the pivotal X factor for Minnesota.
Single back look. 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Handoff, Colin Hart trying to get through, and not going to happen. You think they throw him a changeup and give the ball to the running back after a little while, and it did not work.
Yeah, it did not work, especially in that play. Not a lot of sort of blocking in the middle for Colin Hart, especially when you spread out your offense on the wings. And now Colin Hart's not in the backfield, so definitely going to look at Johnny Reno to make a big play.
Just throwing a little while here. He'll sling it up over the middle, and that is tipped and incomplete. Nothing doing there, as that is going to put a 3rd and 10 on the board. Jay Taylor, your intended target.
Yeah, and Brady Clark providing the first pass deflection for Seattle in the evening, actually. Brady Clark as well with 4 solo tackles. he has been productive on defense.
3rd and 10 coming up, 3rd and long. This is going to be potentially to go over 50% on 3rd down. 5 wide for Reno in the gun. Looking to throw it. Backs it up. Heaves it deep over the middle. That is caught. That is a perfectly thrown ball, exactly where it needed to be. And Minnesota extends the drive with a great play to Jay Taylor over the middle.
Jay Taylor with a great post route of his own. Trying to match up Zachary Patton, who has been incredible in the evening. And Taylor will set his team up for, they're now 41 yards to Seattle, actually. So, been a while since we've seen them anywhere close to this yard line.
1st and 10. Minnesota gets on the Seattle side of the 50 for the first time in a while, as you alluded to, and Colin Hart has no open space in front of him. He is double teamed to the ground and loses a yard in the process on the reception.
Yeah, that was just overall great defensive read. They knew it was going to be a swing pass to Colin Hart. They knew which direction he was running out to, and just sends 1 extra defender for a double team, as you mentioned.
In the gun, 3 to the right, 1 to the left for the legend. Looking to throw, backing it up, taking his time. That is caught again. 1st down and more, down inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. And man, Adam Banks, he's had a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde day. The number of receptions are there, but he's missed on opportunities to get 1st downs. He does so here, however.
Yeah, absolutely. There is something happening in this field. The center of the field seems to be like almost 100% success rate for any receiver in both teams. It's just like the middle, pass thrown in the middle, like this one, caught.
Yep.
Or actually this one, not caught. Might have jinxed that one.
You tried. Buchanan Simons, this though, his first target of the day. I expect they'll probably go back to him somewhat soon. Keep his confidence up. He drops one here, 2nd and 10. That's not usually what we see from Simons in that spot. So, yeah, again, we'll expect them to keep him a part of the plans moving forward. Under center is Reno. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Dime look on defense on this 2nd down. Handoff. Colin Hart, plenty of room, tries to break the last tackle. He had 1 between him and the end zone, and that safety brought him to the turf. 1st and 10, though, at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, good job by Colin Hart on getting the 1st down for his team, keeping the ball, keeping the chain rolling. Doug Day with a great tackle on his knees to stop what could have been the touchdown run for this half by Minnesota.
74 yards approximately for Colin Hart in today's game. 1st and 10, 7:04 left in this 3rd quarter. Looking to throw, right side. That one is caught. There's a flag on the field. Komisak has himself a reception, and right now should have a 1st down depending on the flag. It is a hold, which probably means it is going to be on the offense. So march it back a little bit.
Unfortunate, because as you mentioned, that looked like Komisak's 1st down, first catch as well. But instead, this will look to be a 3rd or a long down situation for Minnesota.
Yep, 3rd and long indeed. Back at their own 25 where they were previously. They're looking at a near side formation. Just trying to set up the long play. Trying to let the routes develop, and that is not going to develop nearly enough. The crossing pattern is fairly short, but they do have some downs to work with at 2nd and 15. Jay Taylor on the cross.
Yeah, that was just Seattle just knew, don't let anything deep take place. Let the short passes come. And 2nd and 15, they'll allow 2nd and 15 because it's a long down situation once again.
Got to get it to the 5-yard line for a 1st. To the outside. That one's caught, and another one that ends up getting them, in that case, 8 more yards. Perfect. 3rd and 7 coming up as Johnny Reno finds his tight end.
Jason Franz, 1st target, 1st catch. Only the 3rd player of the Minnesota offense to get a reception as Johnny Reno racks up 78 yards on that play. 78 yards total after that play.
3rd and 7 coming up. Got to try to find something to get it to at least the 5, give themselves a new set. Minnesota trying to tie this ball game up. Reno's under center, looking to throw. Plenty of time. Throws. Pin. Oh, it's nearly picked off in the end zone. Nothing doing. Seattle will let that one fall to the turf, and Minnesota will have to settle for a 3-point try to get it closer.
Yeah, that was just bend not break defense, absolutely. And when you expect a pass play, then you can line up your defenders, your defensive backs. I believe Doug Day amongst those, contributing in deflecting that ball, and only allowing 3 points is a success for this defense.
Yeah, that'll work. That will work. High snap, hard to handle, but does so well. The backup QB will take care of that. It is a 17-13 game. So no, it is not tied. Doug Day, by the way, the pass deflect on that key third down to bring that one in. You take a look at Lakes, that backup quarterback with the high snap handle. That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's hard maybe as well if you're asking it from your backup quarterback, but hey, you'll take it.
Yeah, very well done. 17-13 it remains, as Seattle will get this ball back. Chance for them to go up 2 possessions before the end of this third quarter, depending on how it goes. Scott back deep for the return. Gus Scott, and he will have it at about the 3-yard line. He's got room to go and blocking in front of him to try to work it to the outside, and doesn't get much further than that. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Do you want in-depth statistics all season long? Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams, and to see all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. Simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. 1st and 10 for the Nemesis. Offset eye look. Blanton over the middle. That one's a great post route that's run and caught. 1st and 10. David Gears again, his 7th catch of the ball game. He's up over the century mark.
Absolutely great pass. What a showing by David Gears, and we're only in the third quarter. Yeah, just great post route as you mentioned. And once again, attacking the middle of the field where it looks like Minnesota isn't putting plenty of effort to protect. You have your cover 2 for the most part in the evening, and they attack that sore opening in the middle of their 2 backs.
Heavy set look on the offensive line. Looks like a couple wide out to the left as well, and another free play. And moving up in the pocket, quick dump off, not going to happen. They'll take the yards. It'll be a 1st and 5 coming up here as Blue Scott is taken out of the backfield.
It's unfortunate for the defense and fortunate, obviously, for the offense. But yeah, I agree with people in the chat saying that the offense of Seattle is cooking. Absolutely 100% after the previous pass to David Gears. It looks like the momentum and the pace is all going Seattle's way, Curtis, and they're not looking to stop.
At least at the moment, you're right. This is another heavy set look for them. See if they give it to Baloo Scott in this 1st and 5 situation. It would make sense to do so just shy of midfield. It'll be a throw. Blanton over the top, tipped, and nearly intercepted twice. And we have an update back at SFL HQ is Cameron Irvine. Let's send it back to HQ. Cam, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Curtis. And guess what thrives after dark? A wild Dave Axis, 2 touchdowns in the first half. Charleston's offense just with 73 total yards of offense nearing halftime, 21-0. All Mavs about to win their 5th game this season. That sets a franchise record. Back to you guys.
Well, fair enough. Mavericks doing good work, and Axis is, of course, live after dark. That is tipped and incomplete as that 2nd down play hits the turf. Axel Raven with the PD on that. How about a 3rd and 6 coming up for Seattle, who has been lightning on a 3rd down so far today?
That is only the 2nd back-to-back incompletion by Blanton in this evening. So Minnesota, very good defensive play in that one, but it's still 3rd and 5. We'll see what they try to do to get 5 yards.
Trying to go 7 for 9 on 3rd down so far. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Blanton has to move out of the pocket, and he's taken down for the first time today. We see a sack in the backfield. 4th and 12. Seattle will be forced to punt it away, and Minnesota has a chance to do something here to get the lead.
Angela Meerkat overpowering the blocker, the right side blocker. And as Travis Blanton tries to find space, tries to find time by shuffling to his right, instead meets the arm of justice of Angela Meerkat and gets brought to the ground.
Yeah, the arm of justice, Angela Meerkat. Sounds like a superhero lawyer combination if I've ever heard one. Here we go. Up and gone as that punt will set up for the for the Legend return. Yes, 1st and 10 as Johnny Reno will come back out onto the field from his own 24-yard line. A decent drive that really took a lot of time off the clock a little while ago. 15 plays, 75 yards, ended up in only a field goal because of Seattle's bend but don't break defense. Now Minnesota's in a spot where they have a drive in front of them that can give them the lead. Heavy set look. Looking to throw for Komisak. He's got it. That is caught. 4-yard gain. And, Komisak makes sure to knock down one of the subs on the Seattle bench as well. 2nd and 6.
Komisak really showing out in the second half already. Just double checking our stats brought to you by Justin Reside and James Walters. That is touch number 4 for Komisak in this half.
He's been steady, no doubt about it. He's added an extra wrinkle to this Minnesota offense that you don't usually see in this kind of volume. Right side and picked off. Reno makes a mistake, and Seattle gets the ball back. They are not as adept at forcing turnovers so far this season, but they do so here. It's Amar Bryant Jr.
Amar Bryant Jr., his first interception in this game. He had a great defensive showing 2 weeks ago with 3 interceptions and did not have any last week. And he's hunting those interceptions, those balls. What a great coverage by him. He's running the route perfectly and jumping at the right time with the ball.
Well done. Now Seattle's got a chance to put themselves up 2 possessions again. That's a seam route that did not quite go his way. It's a slant, 3 coverage members there, and nothing doing 2nd and 10.
Yeah, the interception by Reno is a little bit backbreaking. The last 2 weeks, so if you include this week and the last, he's had 5 interceptions. Before that, the 5 weeks prior, only 3 total.
This looks and smells like a Blue Scott run. This power eye look, and it looks like Minnesota believes it as well. And they smell it correctly. Blue Scott run, nothing going on with it. As a big hit is going to bring her down. 3rd and 12, 3rd and long coming up here for Seattle as they try to extend this drive.
Yeah, it's one thing to know it's coming. It's another thing to be able to stop it. And that's the mark of a good defensive team. The things that are obvious, if you stop the obvious things, then that's a good, basis. It's a good benchmark.
Doubles in the gun, looks, throws, and that is tipped and nearly intercepted. Real nice athletic play from the linebacker. That is B.J. Loveless. He's been all over the field.
All over the field, indeed. But yeah, both defenses showing up after an interception by the Seattle defense, this time Minnesota, forcing a 3-and-out on the Seattle offense. And suddenly, the points have grinded to a halt.
They really have. We've only seen 3 points in this 3rd quarter, which has been kind of wild to say the least after we had an explosion of a couple of touchdowns in a couple of minute span earlier. This is a punt that will get all the way down to about the 17-yard line. Falls on the ground. It is recovered by Seattle. The Nemesis have the football, and they keep possession. Now they're in the red zone.
And that's a check mark for my bingo sheet. I put down fumble. I should have put down fumble in special teams because, wow, what a play by special teams right there of Seattle, forcing the ball back and giving it back to their star quarterback of the evening.
All right, well, that just created a whole new wave of momentum for the Nemesis. 17-13, they have a chance to go up 24-13, depending on how these next couple of plays go. They may try for the end zone here. Blanton backs it up, looks, throws over the middle. That one is caught. They'll give him 9 on the forward progress before he started moving back, and that is going to be 2nd and 1 coming up here. Nice pass to the tight end.
Yep, you're right. All momentum right now is with Seattle, as they are in end zone. Minimum, they can score 3 points assuming no turnover. But look at this, 2nd and 1.
Answer Blanton. Looks, throws, right side. That's caught. Trying to turn and get to the pylon. It's not going to work, but it does get them to 1st and goal. Parley Truth on the first reception. David Gears here. And a couple of plays to set them up as they're at the 4.
Nice catch, Pauly, indeed. And David Gears, that catch sets them up for really close. To your point, yeah, the almost close to the pylon could have been touchdown that play, but now they get 3 attempts for a score.
In the gun, tight end to the left. Blanton, plenty of time, throws back in the end zone, and it's picked off. Minnesota, bend but don't break again. They find a way. It's Derek Meerkat on the pick, and Minnesota will have it at the 20.
I must say, looking back to last week, Seattle in the end zone also threw 2 picks inside the touchdown zone. That is kind of what we are seeing this tonight. 2 picks in the touchdown zone and the end zone. The first one was for a pick 6. This one just for a touchback and starting the Minnesota at the 20-yard line. But Seattle unable to capitalize on a huge opportunity.
Man, oh man. Back and forth we go to the outside. Colin Hart is not going to get very far here. Does get 3. It is 2nd and 7. Are you liking the game so far? Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There's no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. Thank you for helping the SFL reach 10 years. That's a decade, folks, of operation through your viewership. In the gun, 2nd and 7 is Reno. Trying to get it downfield. Another one to Colin Hart. He'll spin past 1 and get himself a few more yards. 3rd and 4 coming up as his momentum was behind the line of scrimmage. Now it's a 3rd and medium for Reno and company.
Maybe a Commissar handoff, maybe for 4 yards. Who knows?
Could be.
Could be.
We've seen weirder things in this game. 35 seconds left. We don't see a muffed punt very often. That's exactly what we saw earlier, and it didn't end up being anything all told. Right side, that is incomplete. He threw it right at the defender, and Ethan Kai is going to knock that to the turf. 4th down, Minnesota will be forced to punt it away.
Ethan Kai was his first pass deflection. Not credited with any tackles, but still contributing in those coverages, preventing any deep passes, preventing any further movement by Minnesota, forcing another 3 and out, this time Minnesota's end. Let's hope this one isn't muffed.
That nearly was. Punt does get away, and it is fair caught by Gus Scott at the 40-yard line. And Seattle again with another opportunity. 19 seconds left in this 3rd quarter to get themselves a 2-possession lead.
Yeah, they really want to make the most out of this opportunity. So many times they've been given, something in a silver platter. You had 2 drives in the red zone, and then twice picked.
Our eye look, the Blue Scott run through the middle, tries to spin, not going to happen. A 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. That's not bad as they continue to do that. 9 seconds left in this 3rd quarter, likely going to be how we end it. So 3 quarters in the book, 17-13. Seattle over Minnesota. Your 4s, your 12s, your 86s, and your 68s, if you please. As we come to the 4th frame, it's the SFL on YouTube, presented by APM Music. Presentation of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited. Back in Seattle. Start of this 4th quarter of play. Chance for Blue Scott, I believe, here on the heavy set. Nope, that'll be a Blanton throw. Blanton, sidearm sling over the middle, and he's got it. 1st and 10 to the 41-yard line. Perfectly thrown ball for David Gears, who finds another gear for this Seattle offense.
And who else but David Gears? And yeah, absolutely. This is now his 121st yard in 8 receptions. He had the 1 touchdown. So, you're looking for early players of the game, it could be David Gears with an incredible showing by him. His second 100-yard game in the season. Incredible showing by him.
Handoff. Blue Scott spins behind the line of scrimmage. That was dangerous. Doesn't gain a yard. 2nd and 10. The music you hear, it's brought to you by APM Music. APM Music's unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Handoff. Through the middle. Well done by Blue Scott to find a seam. Make it 3rd and short for Seattle as they try to extend this drive with 10 minutes left in the game.
Just navigating the traffic in the inside, like my dad navigates the traffic in the middle of the city, and she finds 7 yards for her team.
Did you just make a dad joke?
No.
No? Okay. It felt like you were starting a dad joke there. Could be wrong. Blue Scott, left side, tries to get there, gonna be short. 1 yard short of the first down. 4th down, but a chance for them to potentially put this back to a full 7-point lead.
Yeah, I take the field goal here in 4th and 1. Sometimes you're tempted to convert the 4th and 1, especially when you're at the 32-yard mark of your opponent. But, they are lining up to convert on the 4th down.
They're going to try. We'll see potentially. We'll see if they burn a timeout here instead. I formation. This would be the formation to do it if they do snap it. Tense moments here with just a couple seconds left in the play clock. That's exactly what they're going to try to do and draw the legend offside. Honestly, I generally don't like that play. However, Minnesota's gone offside 4 times tonight. So in that spot, even if you burn a timeout, I don't hate that call.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if that one timeout is going to bite them at the end of the game. But, it's going to be a matter of time management, how many drives you can hold on to, how many drives you can generate with the time remaining in this game. We only have under 9 minutes to play. So that's about maybe 2-3 drives total between both teams.
Left hash, 49-yard attempt for Christian Ronald Suey. They got close to blocking that. It is up and away, and it is no good. Not going to happen. It remains a 4-point advantage for Seattle. Ronald Suey's kicking himself, and he is wide left, it looks like, with that ball.
His 3rd miss of the season comes in a very tight game when the field goal is much needed to hang on to a solid lead. Now Minnesota back on the field. They really want to score here. Any score is good. Field goal cuts the lead to 1. A touchdown, much, much better.
Over the middle. That one's caught. Tight end grabs that. That's well done. I believe that is the first one for Christian Bacigalupi. No, I'm sorry. That's Adam Banks over there. 1st and 10 for them. He's the size of a tight end, I'll tell you that.
Yep, absolutely. Adam Banks, another great catch by him. In Minnesota, able to force a 3 and out, and then that missed field goal. They're looking good.
On the right side, that is a broken tackle for Colin Hart. He will get a couple of yards. 2nd and 8. Man, I'll tell you, Minnesota's like a cat. They have had 9 lives today as far as trying to get back into this football game. Seattle is not able to hit the finish button on a lot of these drives and put Minnesota in a spot where they're 2 possessions down. I think if they've been able to do that, then we wouldn't be in a situation where Minnesota again has a chance to take the lead. Once you put them down, maybe they're done. So this will be a chance for Reno. Left side and well overthrown from his target. Looking for Jay Taylor on the left side. 3rd down coming.
Yeah, I like the point that you mentioned about Minnesota being given so many lifelines by Seattle. One of the lifelines they gave themselves really was the pick 6. That's what set them up to be in this position. Otherwise, Seattle's defense only has allowed 6 total offense points to Minnesota.
Or wide. Looking to throw over the middle. Tipped and incomplete. That's going to be 4th down coming, and some extracurriculars as well, it looks like, as Jason France hits the turf. 4th down coming, and it's not fourth down. It's not 4-down territory yet. This will likely be a punt.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. A punt here. And now Seattle, what are you going to do with your opportunity? They really don't want to miss this opportunity. How many times they had the missed field goal? They had interception. They had 3 and out. This half for Seattle has been painful.
This punt is up and away, going off to the right a little bit there. Returnable from the 12. How about Gus Scott making that a little bit better? That'll work as a 9-yard return on the punt. 1st and 10 for the Seattle Nemesis one more time as they try to put this game potentially on ice.
Yeah, 6 points will put it on ice. Maybe field goal keeps Minnesota in.
They do, and it does indeed. Gun doubles look. Blanton backs it up, looks, throws over the middle, tipped, intercepted. You saw that coming as soon as the ball was thrown. A criminally underthrown ball from Trellis Blanton creates yet another opportunity for the legend.
Trellis Blanton started really hot in this game, Curtis. He had nearly 300 yards in the first half, but this second half, has thrown 2 interceptions. 2 very untimely interceptions, one at the end zone and one in a position that sets Minnesota up to be, they're in the 33-yard line of Seattle. They are within scoring range already.
They are indeed in a real good spot. That was Derek Meerkat, the second pick of this game. Reno, time. He's going to put it to the outside. Spin past one. Man, oh man. That is ridiculous. 2nd and 5 coming up after a couple of spins from Colin Hart that still have me dizzy.
Yeah, that absolutely ridiculous is the right word. You saw 2 tacklers potentially stop him behind the line of scrimmage. He ends up somehow gaining 6 yards, 5 yards.
In the gun, Reno. Looking to throw it. Looks, throws over the middle. That's caught. That's a perfect post route over the middle one more time. And how about this? It's Buchanan Simons, his first catch of the game on 2 targets.
Yes, sir. And Simons, what a catch by him in the middle. Another catch in the middle for this Minnesota team. Really exploiting the sore spots of the Seattle defense. And the score here, we'll see them score for the first time in a while.
Yeah, since the 3rd quarter for sure. They've only got 3 points in the second half. This will be a handoff to who else? Chris Komisak, the fullback, with another carry. Gets a couple of yards. Linebacker Horrell comes up, make the hit, and a 2-yard gain. Has him set up for 2nd down. Split backs look again. 2 to the left. Reno trying to bring his team in front. That's a handoff to Colin Hart. And Colin Hart's small body does not work against 4 big bodies. That's a tackle. 3rd and 8 coming up. Biggest 3rd down of this game for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's Catherine Horrell, slow to get up, but slow because she was relishing in the great tackle she put on Colin Hart. Looking to pass here. Absolutely 3rd and long situation.
4 for 9 on 3rd downs. None bigger than this one. 5 wide for Minnesota. They need a score. Looks, throws. It's caught for a touchdown. The legend did it. Finally able to get the lead and bring themselves all the way back for Queg Mam to get them on the board.
And Queg Mam, that is catch number 1 for Queg Mam in the evening. First target, first catch, and it's for a touchdown. And they take the lead since they first scored 3 points and made it 3-0 in the first quarter. They're up 19-17 with 5.5 minutes to go, up 2017 pending this point. And now Seattle, momentum, time and time again, they could have put this away, and suddenly they are on the brink of another L.
19-17, make it 20-17 with 5:24 left in this football game. Minnesota's come back to take their first lead of the day at a perfect time to do it. Now Seattle has to answer. How about that? How about that? Minnesota finally, after giving plenty of opportunities, Seattle missed on opportunities to create clutch third downs and just not able to keep Minnesota off the board. All told, Gus Scott's going to bring it back. They're moving left to right on your screen. So this game not over by any stretch. Charles Blanton has been a gunslinger all day long and has made some mistakes, but has also been pretty good in his own right for Seattle. And looking at that, he's thrown the ball 34 times. He's got a decent completion percentage of 65%. This game is still very much in the balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention 330 yards, so he has been putting in the yardage.
Handoff. Not a lot to it for Baloo Scott, but something. 4 yards, 2nd and 6 coming up as another one for Derek Metercat in the tackle category.
The one thing I haven't seen from Seattle is them establishing the short edge, edge passing play, like outside passing. They haven't established that much, and that's something that they might need down the stretch in a close game when they potentially have the final drive. But instead, this is a lineup for potentially Baloo Scott, a swing pass to her.
Yeah, the swing pass, it doesn't go very far. However, real good pursuit to the ball. Keeps it at a 3rd and 7 as Scott gets taken down.
Very likely going to be another Charles Blanton pass.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. 3rd and 7. They can't afford not to score.
Yeah, they got to pass it here. I don't think that they can rely on Baloo Scott to get that many yards right there. That's going to be a pump fake and a throw. Blanton over the middle, and it is caught. No, yes, 1st and 10 at the 46 of Minnesota. Gus Scott finds it, and Trellis Blanton with a seed has extended this drive.
Yeah, I mean, despite the 3 interceptions, Trellis Blanton just keeps finding these long passes and makes those passes. I mean, you can even argue those 3 interceptions, maybe half of them, at least one was just an underthrown pass. Otherwise, it could have been another complete long pass. And that's just how insane he has been this evening.
25 per catch for Gus Scott. Only his 2nd grab of the ball game. He's got 50 yards. Looking to throw. Left side, caught toward the sideline. Can turn it upfield, but a real good pursuit from behind to bring him down. David Gears, another grab on his list. He's got a $134 through the air.
Over 130 yards from him. Zachary Patton, 2nd leading receiver with 76 yards. We haven't seen Zachary Patton catch the ball in a while. Has been David Gears all night.
That is Baloo Scott through the middle. Not a lot to it. 3rd and 3 coming up here. Another big 3rd down for Seattle as they're just on the precipice of field goal range. That would set up a tie potentially if they can get there. Ronald Suey has missed already in this game though, so I mean, hard to. I wouldn't say hard to imagine, but maybe they don't rely on him as they go to the power eye, and this is Baloo Scott's formation. Nope. Blanton will pass.
Oh my
and
goodness.
A big hit. Minnesota gets home. 4th down coming. Now you wonder if it's a 4th down situation, and I think it might be. Mark Mello comes through the defensive end and lays the wood.
It absolutely might be 4th down. What a very timely sack. That was great. That could have been, Seattle converting on another 3rd down, but instead they forced a punt. They're not even going to, force a 4th down. No. I mean, sure, they'll have their 2 timeouts left. And what did I say? That 1 timeout might be key as they have 1 less timeout to slow this game down.
And they made a mistake on coverage there. That was close, but they will give Minnesota the ball at the 20-yard line. I thought he had 2 feet in bounds or in the field of play. Not so much.
Yeah, you don't see much of the special teams catching the ball and throwing it backwards to another teammate, as their momentum is into the end zone. But touchback is unfortunate.
Colin Hart could be the man to get the ball here. Steady diet of Colin Hart. Comisac may also get a couple of carries based on how he's performed. This is to the outside, and Hart finds his way forward for 7. 2nd and 3 coming up to the 27-yard line. Second and 3. That clock continues to go. This may be the last play we see before. That may be the last play we see before the end of, or before the 2-minute warning. I don't imagine that they will be in a hurry to snap this. And they will, actually. Through the middle, Kamasak got the carry. Not a lot to it. And that will get us to the 2-minute mark. It is 3rd and 3 as Minnesota tries to get a first down to potentially end this ball game. It is 20-17, the legendary front. Big 3rd down. Key 3rd down on defense if you are Seattle. Split backs. They've run into this formation a bunch. 4-3 look, bringing them up to the line. They're reading run. It is a run, and it is going to be close, but not close enough. 4th down and 1, and they will indeed have to punt it away and give Seattle a chance with 1 timeout.
Yeah, that was a key tackle. That could have been a first down, Curse. I thought it was really close. I'm not surprised they didn't challenge because you don't want to waste a timeout this late in the game. Definitely one final chance for Seattle. Otherwise, Minnesota smelling the W.
Yeah, this very well could be, but Seattle's going to have a good opportunity. This is going to be returnable, but fair caught by Gus Scott at the 37. So 1st and 10 for Trellis Blanton, who has had a decent day. I'll take away the interceptions. I'm sure he wants to do that. But Minnesota, you think back to that pick 6 earlier, and that is really still your play of the ball game, the way this is set.
Mm-hmm.
3-point game, split backs look. Blanton to the outside. Big pursuit. No huddle defense. Not the time to be stuck in a formation you don't want to be in. Again, Seattle only one way to stop the clock at this point. And that's to get an incompletion or use that last timeout. Pass left side towards the sideline. And they're going to give him the catch. I think we're going to take a look at this. I don't think there's any doubt about that. 1st and 10 at the moment. But I have a feeling the replay booth may have something to say.
Ooh, that's really close. I think not the best angle there too, and you're right.
Retroactive look at it brought to you by Retroid as we get going. 3-point game in the biggest challenge so far, or the only challenge so far in this game, and it's initiated by the booth. Need 1 foot, and I don't think he has it. That right foot is on that white line.
We'll see what R62 thinks.
Review, the play stands. The pass was complete. The catch was made prior to going out of bounds.
And it stands. They kept the catch. Oh my, there may be some hurt feelings, and I think that fills a bingo card slot as well. 1st and 10 from midfield.
Yeah, R62 will need to go have his eye appointment sometime this week.
Getting older. Everyone's getting older. Blanton backs up out of the pocket. Sidearm throw. That's a good ball. 1st and 10. They do find it, and they're just outside of field goal range of the 40-yard line.
Taking their time, though. I think they want to have the last play be in their hands.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They don't want to give Minnesota, the way their offense is playing, any chance at anything.
Just don't turn the ball over, I guess.
Right. Blue Scott's going to get a handoff here. Tried to work the edge. Got the speed. First down spin. And a big first down to get at the 27-yard line. Blue Scott, spin of the day. And the speed at which she did it set her up for a perfect opportunity.
And that is 100 total yards, including passing and rushing from her, totaling 118 in the evening.
Split backs look for Seattle. Definitely well within field goal range now. Throws. But another spin from Blue Scott, getting dizzy in what looked like a neck tackle to bring her down. 5-yard gain, a 2nd and 5. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Blanton looks, throws again, right side towards the sideline. It is caught one more time. How about that for Gus Scott? 3rd catch of the day. That one is the shortest one he's had so far.
Yeah, good catch too. The extra effect of stopping the clock as he goes out of bounds. Give your team a free sort of timeout, a free clock stoppage. 18 seconds. That's probably one more play that if this doesn't score, they're gonna settle for a field goal potentially.
And it very well could be bunch left. This could be the opportunity. Tee to Queen, one of the ones over there as well as the fourth option. Blanton, 7-step drop, heaves it over the middle. That one's caught and short of the end zone, and they'll call that last timeout, I believe, to get them a chance to tie this game up. And I think extra football is on the horizon with 3 seconds left. Oh man, that was so close to getting into the end zone. I missed the number on that receiver.
This is it.
That might have been Gears, I think, that had that catch. This is a chance for Ronald Suey to make up for the miss earlier. If he hadn't missed earlier, they'd be in a spot to potentially win the ball game here. But you add back in those 3 points, we're tied. Either way, right hash, 19-yard chip shot. It is on the way, and we are tied with a second left in regulation.
Yeah, and barring anything spectacular happening in this kickoff return, we are going to overtime. That's another check off the bingo sheet.
That bingo card's getting some use today, no doubt about it.
It is. We'll see if I get a bingo.
Okay, so here we go. Adam Banks back deep for the return. He muffed a punt earlier, trying to be a hero in this spot. Nope, didn't quite happen on this, but that's okay. Doesn't lose the ball, so that's important. And that's right where we're at. We have OT on the horizon, the extra frame. First points wins in Seattle. It's 20-all, Legend and Nemesis. It's the SFL on YouTube presented by APM Music. Coin toss ever important in this scenario. Legend will call it. And it is going to belong to Seattle. The hometown team gets the ball first in overtime, and Trellis Blanton will have a chance to win the game for the Nemesis.
Chance for him to bring home the bacon, get Seattle's win number 3 of the season. We're going to watch out for turnovers. There's going to be interception watch all over this drive. Make sure that Trellis Blanton does not give the ball back to Minnesota.
Scott 2 yards into the field of play. Going to try to move left, and he's going to get taken down. Quick game update to Cameron Irvine. We go to SFL HQ.
Thank you, Curtis. Scar Patterson, 4 touchdowns tonight for San Diego, 2 to Axis, 2 to Robo. The Mavericks set a new franchise record for wins in a season. They're now 5-2, and that's the 3rd team in the West with at least 5 wins. Back to your thrilling OT finish in Seattle.
All right, so San Diego, not a lot of suspense over there against Charleston, but we have a lot of suspense here. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Over the middle. That one is intercepted. Back the other way. The return on a couple of spins is already going to have Minnesota in field goal range. Johnny Bravo comes through in the clutch and gets the turnover you were looking for.
You can only really say one word for that play. Bravo. What a way to end it. Probably the dagger of the game.
The 90s cartoon kids will appreciate this. Oh, mama.
Oh, mama.
1st and 10 for the Legend. I'm really hoping Chad appreciates that because I'll probably never be able to do that again.
It's okay. I do appreciate it.
Here we go. In the gun. By himself is Reno. Looking to throw it. Plenty of time. Heaves it over the middle. That is incomplete. Nothing doing 2nd and 10.
They are already in field goal range, so barring a play that gives them negative yards, a sack perhaps could do it, tackle for loss. Once again, we're hoping there's no turnover, as I jinxed a turnover for Seattle.
3 to the right, 1 to the left again. Reno has Colin Hart with him. They'll go over the middle. That's tipped and incomplete. Another dangerous ball that the linebacker gets his hands on. That's Brady Clark, actually the safety, who got a hand on that football. What a play there. 3rd down. This game not over yet.
absolutely not over. But for the defense, pass deflection may not be enough. You really want to hunt those turnovers, force the ball out of a receiver's hands and into your defender's hands instead. And this is absolutely pass play, all guns ready.
Interesting that they're passing in this situation. You'd think they'd try for the field goal. Reno, middle, incomplete. Another dangerous ball. Horrell knocks it down, and this is a 4th down play that can end the game from this spot. You're looking at a 47-yarder to win it for the Legend.
We already saw a 49-yard field goal missed. That was by Seattle.
Yes.
And Minnesota hoping to not replicate that.
See what Mickey Milolo can do for the game winner from the right hash from 47. Does Minnesota win this game? They do. The comeback is real. They finish it off 23-20 and have to come back to do it over the Nemesis on the road. That is a gutsy win from a gutsy Minnesota Legend team. They finish it off and move to 5-2, and Seattle fans sleepless in Seattle tonight.
Yeah, absolutely great game by both teams. It was a close game all the way through. Seattle, for the most part, actually keeping it close for Minnesota by missing several opportunities on their end, unable to score off of any of the turnovers that they collected. A lot of passing yards, of course, by Travis Blanton. We talked about him, his performance. Deep passes has been his specialization. Over 400 yards by him. 140 of those went to David Gears, but the interceptions hurt him, Curtis. Interceptions is also what won the game for Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, you think back again to that pick six that was earlier in the ball game, and that was a lot of what told the story on defense for Minnesota. They got a pick six out of that one. They picked off a couple more as well. That it was really an all effort for Minnesota coming through. The offense was not spectacular on this day by any stretch of the imagination, but they got points when it mattered, and the rest of the facets of the game, especially teams in the defense, did the job. Even with Adam Banks muffing that punt earlier, they were still able to overcome that as Seattle couldn't take advantage. Very good work. Very good work from Minnesota. They moved to 5-2. Seattle goes down to 2-5, but not all is lost for Seattle. Some bright spots for them. Blue Scott being one of those. Mark, tell me about her.
Yeah, she was incredible, at least production-wise. For Seattle, Baloo Scott, we look at her numbers, 66 rushing yards and officially 57 in the passing game as well. Talk about her contribution. That is over 100 yards contributed to their offense. In terms of touches, 22 attempts, 6 receptions. He had almost a little over half of the attempts as Charles had throws. So really, the balance that she provides, much better improvement than previous week.
The rare defensive player of the game belongs to Derek Meerkat, and it's a good one. 13 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 tips. Then one ended in an interception the other way as well. Derek Meerkat, your player of the game for Minnesota as they move to 5-2. A lot of football left this weekend, but that caps off a very good SFL After Dark session on this Friday evening. For Mark Lopez, I'm Chris Curtis, and we say good night from the Pacific Northwest.